This is your USMNT Abroad midweek update from December 6th to December 9th of 2021. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical TV, and welcome to another USMNT Abroad episode. If you're new here, this is a series where we update you every Friday and every Monday on how the Americans did abroad. Friday being the midweek, which you're watching right now, and Monday being the weekend recap of how the Americans performed abroad. With that said, everyone, this episode obviously is mostly covering the USMNT players that played in the Champions League. We'll update you guys on all their performances, and we'll talk about the group stages, and you'll know who went through or not. With that said, hit that like button if you haven't already before we start. Subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content. Welcome to the channel if you're new. And let's start the updates. Before we go to the performance updates, there is a transfer rumor that I want to mention, and that's Diego Luna. He has drawn interest from clubs from Portugal, Spain, Germany, Netherlands, all according to Tom Borghet. Hopefully, I didn't butcher his name. Now, Luna is just 18 and had a very strong season for El Paso Lokomotiv in USL. The former Barcelona Residency Academy player is also a dual national eligible for the United States and Mexico. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to go to MLS or abroad. Okay, so let's go through all the Champions League players, the American Champions League players, not all of them. I don't have time for that. Let's start with Christian Pulisic from Chelsea. On Wednesday, Pulisic started off the bench for Chelsea and came in at the 64th minute during their exciting 3-3 draw with Zenit. Now, this was a great game, and Zenit was able to pull a late draw to drop Chelsea to second place. Regardless, Chelsea advanced, and so did Juventus, but Chelsea ended up, unfortunately, qualifying in second place in the group, which we'll talk about very soon when I go through all the groups. Now, Pulisic played as a right wing back. He had 14 touches, 91% passing accuracy, 2 key passes, and lost possession only once. That is a pretty good amount of stats for the amount of minutes he had in this game. Plus, he did have an assist, and it was a pretty good one. First, he did a 1-2 with Ziyech. Then he had a nice through ball to feed Timo Werner, which Timo Werner would go on to cut to his right foot and have a very strong finish. Now, I personally think that every time you assist Timo Werner, it shouldn't be called an assist. It should be called something different, something special. Because if you can get Timo Werner to score, that is special, right? I personally am not feeling very inspired and creative. I just call it
a super assist.
Why don't you feel free to comment it down below? Give me your suggestion. What should we start calling every time someone assists Timo Werner? And Timo Werner did have 2 goals in this match, but one of them, my grandma would have scored. Pulisic has been very productive this season when healthy. That's something I do have to mention. In just 425 minutes, which is a bit less than 5 full games, he has had 2 goals and 1 assist. So if he does stay healthy, his numbers will look pretty good. And again, he had a productive game. Okay, so Weston Mckennie was not available for Juventus. He's still recovering from a knee injury. As we don't have a timeable yet, he is day-to-day. He can be back anytime soon. Expect him to be back sometime this year still, probably in 1 to 3 weeks. The other player I want to talk about is Giovanni Reina. He's back in training with Borussia Dortmund. That means he's also day-to-day, but he's only expected to be back after the winter break, so in January. Now, Dest from Barcelona and Malik Tillman from Bayern, as they did face each other. On Wednesday, Dest started and played 45 minutes only for Barcelona as a right winger during their 3-0 loss to Bayern. For this same match, Malik Tillman came off the bench for Bayern at the 77th minute. So, just one thing to say, Dest was pulled off at halftime, which is not good. So, Dest did not have a good game. He looked more like a right midfielder to me instead of right winger, and very often he looked tactically lost. Just didn't look good. It was also a little weird because Araujo was the one going up front for the press, and Dest would sometimes drift middle or drop back, but Araujo was the right back. That was a little odd to me. I don't know if it's because Xavi doesn't trust Dest to press or Dest was lost. That was a little confused to me. It just didn't look natural. He got burnt by Alphonso Davies and struggled to keep up with Davies very often. It even seemed like Xavi did give him the role of tracking Davies throughout this match, so that was also a downer. Look, we did a whole video breaking down the possibility of Serginho Dest leaving Barcelona. I'll put that on the description so you can watch it in case you missed it. Now, it's worth watching more than ever. And it's not really a video just for reaction and bait. We actually did some research and we pointed out reasons why he could leave Barcelona. So it's a great video. Go check it out now more than ever. In terms of stats, Serginho Dest had 17 touches, 71% passing accuracy, lost possession 7 times, and won 4 out of 9 ground duels. So to be honest, these stats are not horrible, but trust me, the performance was far worse than the stats. And yes, the eye test in soccer matters a lot more than just looking at the stats. Barcelona are now eliminated of the Champions League. Okay, moving on in the video. Now we're going to talk about Tyler Adams from RB Leipzig and Zach Steffen from Manchester City. And Zach Steffen finally played. On Tuesday, Zach Steffen started and went the full 90 minutes for Manchester City, while Tyler Adams started off on the bench for Leipzig and came in at the 63rd minute during the 2-1 victory of RB Leipzig over Manchester City. So RB Leipzig gets a win right after Jesse Marsch leaves. Doesn't look good for Jesse at all. But again, how much did Manchester City really care about this game? I don't know. There wasn't much in stake for them, right? They couldn't lose their position. However, there is a post-match comment from Conrad that I will address very soon that it almost sounded like he was taking a jab on Marsch. I'll talk about it soon. Let's go back to talking about Zach Steffen and Tyler Adams. So Zach Steffen was very busy in the first half, making plenty of difficult saves and crucial saves to keep Manchester City in this game. The goal was not his fault. He was caught in a one-on-one situation with Dominic Sonosblai, and he got beaten off a nice dribble in an outstanding finish from the Hungarian talent. Okay, the finish was normal, but the dribbling ability was amazing. In terms of distribution, I mean, Leipzig wasn't pressing much this game, so the game itself did not require Steffen to play out of the back with much pressure. The center backs were able to take care of taking the ball forward, progressing it forward, so there's not much to talk about in regards to Zach Steffen with his feet in this match. Now, not just the shot stopping, but Zach Steffen just looked very commanding and confident throughout this match. Plus, the second goal was also not his fault. It was a very tough shot to save from very close range. Now, in regards to Tyler Adams, let's talk about him now. He played as a dual 6 when he came in a 4-2-3-1 formation for Leipzig. And he did fine. Nothing bad, nothing special. He was pretty good on the defensive end, much better this time against Jack Grealish, not allowing him to cut middle to have a clean shot, which at the first match they had, he did allow Grealish to do that, which led to a goal. He covered the right back in many occasions as well to help Leipzig at the back line. He got a yellow card for this match, but he had a solid performance. And again, talking about goals, the goal Manchester City scored was nothing to do with Tyler Adams. For this match, Tyler Adams had 11 touches, 1 clearance, and 2 blocked shots. While Zach Steffen, he had 3 saves, 1 punch, 1 high claim, 32 touches, and a 90% passing accuracy. After the match, Conrad had some comments which looked like a stab on Jesse Marsch. So quote him right here and you be the judge. Does this sound like he's kind of like complaining about Jesse, or it's just me overthinking? We wanted to have fun in our football again. We did that well over the 90 minutes today, and deservedly, we got 3 points. We wanted to find more solutions when in possession, and we could have scored 1 or 2 more goals. That does not sound good to me for Jesse Marsch, but that's just my opinion. Comment yours down below and don't forget to hit the like button while you're at the process. Now, John Brooks and Timothy Weah, as this week they were supposed to face each other. On Wednesday, Weah was not available due to injury and Brooks was benched the full 90 minutes. So what we were supposed to have a Brooks versus Timothy Weah matchup, we didn't get it. We just didn't get it. Now, one thing worth mentioning is Jonathan David did score a nice goal off a nice touch and a clinical finish. And I know he plays for the very rude Canadians that we're going to beat in January, by the way. But he is American, so it's an Americans Abroad series, so it was worth mentioning. Wolfsburg is out of the Champions League. Lille advances. Now, for the same group as Lille and Wolfsburg, let's talk about Brenden Aaronson from RB Salzburg. On Wednesday, Brenden started and played the full 90 minutes for Salzburg during their 1-0 victory over Sevilla. Now, Salzburg has qualified for the first time ever to the Champions League knockout rounds, which is not a good look for Marsch as well, since they're being as successful or even better without him. But we do have to be fair. They were in a much tougher group last season with Jesse Marsch. So as it's not a good look for him because they're still being successful without him, this is not the best comparison. For this match, Brenden Aaronson did get a hockey assist for Salzburg at their only goal, as he did put a beautiful through ball out the left flank for Adeyemi, which led to a cross, which led to the goal. Brenden also played as an attacking midfielder centrally, aka a 10 in a 4-4-2 diamond formation. Brenden had 46 touches for this match, 85% passing accuracy, 2 shot blocked. He also won 3 out of 5 ground duels and won 3 out of 6 aerial duels. Now, I want to bring to the attention of everyone here his heat map. This guy was just all over the place. Look at the heat map. It's a little bit of everywhere on the field. He's just everywhere. And I got to say one thing. Brendan's work rate is just insane. Now, Owen Atasawi from Club Brugge. And, well, he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes. So it's a win that he went to the bench. It's just weird that they were down 4-1 against PSG and he couldn't get 1 minute. Last but not least, from the Champions League players, let's talk about Pefok. On Wednesday, Pefok started and played 62 minutes for BSC Young Boys during their 1-1 draw with Manchester United. Pefok played as one of the dual strikers, the 2 strikers up top on a 4-4-2 formation. Young Boys are now eliminated from the Champions League. However, they do go out undefeated against Manchester United. Hey, I'll take it. It's something. All right, before I dive into the other players, the Europa League, and some players that played some cup matches, let's go very quickly through the groups, just so you know who went through to the Europa League and who went to the Champions League. So for Group A, Manchester City led the group with 12 points. PSG finished second. Both teams advanced to the next round of the Champions League. Third place, we got RB Leipzig with Tyler Adams, which will go to the Europa League. So in this group, we have Zach Steffen advancing to the next round and Tyler Adams going to the Europa League. All right, now Group B, no Americans. Regardless, let's just go through Group B real quick, where Liverpool got first place and Atletico Madrid got second. These are the 2 teams that advanced the next round. And AC Milan was the disappointment, not even getting an Europa League spot, which was taken by Porto. Now let's go to Group C, which, yes, now we can talk about an American. For Group C, Ajax led the group and completely dominated, winning every single match, and Sporting finished in second. So Ajax and Sporting Lisbon will advance to the next round of the Champions League. Borussia Dortmund finished in third place and will now play the Europa League. So Giovanni Reina will have to play the Europa League. Now, Group D. So Group D also doesn't have any Americans, and it ended with Real Madrid and Inter Milan advancing to the next round of the Champions League. And one of the surprises here was Sheriff. Yes, Sheriff has advanced to the Europa League, and Shakhtar Donetsk is out. Now, Group E, the one with Bayern and Barcelona. So for Group E, Bayern Munich advanced, winning every single match in first, and the second place Benfica will go to the next round of the Champions League, the Portuguese Giants. Barcelona is eliminated from the Champions League and will have to go play the Europa League. So Serginho Dest will be in the Europa League, and Bayern Munich, that has Malik Tillman, and I guess we could mention Taylor Booth as well, will advance to the next round of the Champions League. Now Group F. So Group F, pretty straightforward. Manchester United advanced in first at the time of this recording, and I don't care enough about Villarreal and Atalanta. They didn't play each other yet because the game was canceled. You can check out yourself. I know. Maybe you want to know, and I apologize for it. And Young Boys from Pefok finished in last place in the group, so they won't play the Europa League and they won't play in the Champions League. I apologize that for Group F, but this is being recorded Wednesday night, and they're going to play on Thursday because Atalanta and Villarreal was suspended or postponed because of snow. Now, Group G. So Group G had 2 Americans advancing in first and second. Lille advanced in first in the group, and that will be Timothy Weah, which will play in the knockout round of the Champions League. The other one is Rb Salzburg. As we mentioned, it's the first time in their history that they advanced the knockout rounds of the Champions League, and that is with Brenden Aaronson. Third place, Sevilla, which honestly, they might have finished third on purpose. They love to play the Europa League. And then fourth place is Wolfsburg from John Brooks, and Wolfsburg is out of the Champions League and out of the Europa League. Last but not least, Group H. So Group H finished with Juventus in first and Chelsea, the current champions, in second. Zenit will play the Europa League as they finish in third. So Weston McKennie's Juventus advanced in first, and Chelsea from Christian Pulisic will go in second. All right, everyone, that does it for the Champions League. Now, let's go on to the Europa League players. Okay, now we're going to start the Europa League, but don't forget to stay till the end. I will be talking about Serginho Dest, some hot news that just came out today while we were recording, and I'll address it about him possibly being on the move from Barcelona, which now it seems more real than ever. We made a video about that, I talked about it, but let's go to the Europa League, and let's start with Mark McKenzie from Genk. On Thursday, McKenzie started and played a full 90 minutes for Genk during their 1-0 loss to Rapid Wien. Genk finished last in their group in the Europa League, and they are now eliminated. All right, now Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic. On Thursday, CCV was rested by Celtic during the Europa League match against Real Betis, and the reason for that, yes, you guessed it. Celtic was already eliminated. Next on the list is Sam Vines from Antwerp, and guess if he qualified or was eliminated. I'll give you a second. Go guess it. On Thursday, Vines was not with the team. He was not with Antwerp during their 1-0 victory over Olympiacos. Antwerp finished last in their group, and they are now eliminated. Now off to DeAndre Yedlin from Galatasaray. On Thursday, Yedlin started and went the full 90 minutes for Galatasaray during their 0-0 draw with Lazio. Galatasaray topped their group, and they have now advanced to the next round of the Europa League. Thank goodness, because I was getting tired of just saying eliminated for every single American in the Europa League. Keep in mind, when I say eliminated, I mean the Europa League. There is the Europa Conference League, which I don't care too much about. Maybe we'll cover next semester, and some of the teams that I'm mentioning might be playing it if they finish third. So I'm talking about the Europa League. Now let's go to Conrad de la Fuente from Olympique Marseille. On Thursday, Conrad started for Marseille and played 81 minutes during their 1-0 win over Lokomotiv Moscow. Now, Conrad in the first half was unstoppable in one-on-one situations. He was lighting up their defense, and he was also pretty good in the second half in one-on-one situations as well. However, the same issues are still there. The decision-making after he beats the player on one-on-one situations is poor. The crossing after he beats a player on one-on-one situations is poor. The finishing after he beats a player on a one-on-one situation is always blocked, so poor as well. So these are some aspects of his game that must improve, but then again, it's technically his first professional season, and he's extremely technical and talented, so I think over time these aspects will improve, or maybe just one or two of them, which will be more than enough for him to be a superb winger. For this match, he played as a left winger in a 4-3-3 formation, providing a lot of width and Greg's favorite word, verticality. Conrad had 38 touches in this match, 85% passing accuracy, won 5 out of 8 ground duels, also had 6 dribbling attempts, to which 4 were successful. So Marseille did win this one, but they finished third in the group, and they are now eliminated from the Europa League. Now Richie Ledezma, which he is back from injury. On Monday, Ledezma returned for Young PSV, so their B team, earlier in this week. And the reason I'm mentioning this one is because after a strong 45 minutes with their B team, he was already back in the senior squad. And he did not play, but he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes and was available for their crucial Europa League game midweek. This is actually very good news and quite impressive that he's quick to bounce back right to the senior squad after returning from an ACL injury. These injuries are terrible. Now, Christian Kappes from Brøndby. On Thursday, Kappes started off the bench and came in at the 61st minute for Brøndby during their 2-0 loss to Sparta Prague. Brøndby finished last in their group, and you know what I'm going to say. They are now eliminated. The last player I want to talk about is not in the Europa League. That's Johnny Cardoso. He will be joining the US men's national team later this week, so in a day or two. He just played the last game for Internacional this season. The Brazilian league is over. On Monday, he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes. On Thursday, he came off the bench at halftime and played 45 minutes for Internacional at their 1-0 loss to Red Bull. The Brazilian Red Bull. Yes, there's a very good Brazilian Red Bull team there as well. That does it for all the updates. I just want to quickly talk about the Serginho Dest situation before we go. So it's been reported now that Xavi actually told Barcelona that Dest can go, that his transfer is listed, and they're probably going to accept something around $30 million for his transfer. Xavi gave up on the player for some reason, and a few others as well, 3 players total. Some people were saying that Serginho Dest made a mistake to go to Barcelona. In my opinion, that is BS. It's very easy to say he made a mistake now. At the time he was heading to Barcelona, they were not in this crisis. Obviously, there were issues, but it wasn't like this. Messi was still there. He claimed it was his childhood dream. To me, he made the right decision for the time of going to Barcelona. Is it the best to stay now? Yeah, things are a little messy there, so maybe it is best to leave. But it's very easy to say that he messed up in the past. Never say a player at that age messed up for going challenge himself in a different country, in a tougher league, in a tougher team. All right, that's all I have to say about that, guys. This does it for the video. Comment your opinion also, Serginho Dest. Did he make a mistake of joining Barcelona or not? Personally, I don't blame him. I think he made the right decision for the time. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget, we will be doing an MLS live stream this Saturday, or you're watching this on Saturday, for MLS Cup. We'll also be doing the full coverage of USMNT versus Bosnia in the friendly next week with lots of videos leading up to the match and the live stream. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and have a great day.